doing before, and a tuple of numbers. Now, let's say I want to print out every single value in my list. I'm going to use a for loop. I will say for and then a variable name. This is basically what you want each value in your list to be known as. So I'm just going to call it item in list 1 and then print item. So it'll just be list 1 colon print item, and then item will be in parentheses. So this code is very straightforward. I simply print every item in my list. So what happens here, the for loop iterates over every item in the list. It goes to apples and then says, okay, I'm assigning the string apples to the variable item, and then it prints the variable item. And then it moves on to the next portion of the list. It goes to bananas and assigns bananas to item and then prints item. And it does this for every item on this list. Now let's go to tuples. So I can again do for item in tuple 1 colon print item. The exact same thing happens. Each number gets assigned to the variable item and then it gets printed one by one. For loops are very effective in iterating over data structures. So you can also use for loops for something known as a range function, which I find pretty cool. A range function gives you a series of numbers starting from one index and going to another index. So most of the times when I use the range function in for loops, I use the variable I, but you can also use any variable as long as you don't forget it and you don't repeat it later. So for I in range 0, 10 in parentheses and then colon print I. So now this prints numbers from 0 up to 10. Notice how it doesn't print 10 because once again the ending position is not printed and it is excluded. So if you want to print 1 to 10, you will have to do for I in range 1, 11 and then colon print I to get 1 to 10. A cool thing about the range function is that it has a skip feature. So let's say you only want to print out the even numbers from 1 to 10. You can do that by doing for I in range 0, 11 and then another comma and 2, and then you have your colon print I. And you get all the even numbers between 0 and 10. So the last value you put in is the number that it is skipping, which in our case is by 2. The last number is the increment value. So now let's do a quick challenge for you guys. Why don't you try and print out the first 5 multiples of 10